If your data is lost either by hacking or while transporting, are you sure that your data is safe, especially in terms of privacy? No one is reading it. In this video, we are going to talk about data anonymization, a technique adopted by IT experts to convert their data into a different format so that even if it is lost, it is not in a native readable format. We'll talk about the basic definition, the techniques, the implementation steps and challenges along with practical applications of data anonymization. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel where I've been talking about data privacy and how to keep your data safe within data privacy as well. In this video, let us talk about data anonymization. To begin with, data privacy. Data privacy, my right to choose what personal information I want to share, with whom do I want to share it, and what is the purpose of sharing it. What is it that the other party wants to do with my personal information? Once I'm clear on this, I also need to understand whether they are going to share my information with anyone else. If yes, then to what extent and what is their purpose of sharing it with anyone else. And when all of them is clear, I am safe and I allow and I provide my consent along with my information so that they can collect and process my information in a particular way. Right? And by the way, they are collecting from me in a native format, which could be a handwritten form or an electronic form. Data privacy gives me those rules and laws that help me protect my interest if in case I see my information being wrongly shared or wrongly used at any end without my consent. Right? Now, for an organization who is collecting personal information of various relationships, prospects, customers, vendors, associates, it is very important that they keep the information safe. Not readable even by hackers, not readable even if the information is stolen. The basic things like encryption does support and help a lot, but when it comes to further security, we have another concept which is called data anonymization. Data anonymization is the process of transforming the data in such a way that it cannot be read independently, directly or indirectly. Right? So even if the data is stolen, it is already converted apart from being encrypted that no one can just natively open it up and start reading it and using it the way they want to. The anonymization process being used, we are going to get into details in the coming slides, should be irreversible but should also maintain sufficient utility for analysis. Right? So when we say irreversible, only the technique with which it was anonymized should be able to read it back. At least that should be able to read it back. But even as anonymized data, it should be available to be utilized for analysis and other functions that you want to do out of the data. So let us have a look at the common techniques that are used for data anonymization. One is generalization. You replace a part of data with a data range. For example, if there is a date, say 16th in the data, then maybe it is replaced by 16 to 25. Only the anonymization technique knows that whenever it is 16 to 25, it should be read as 16. Right? That is one thing, one basic example. You can suppress certain identifiers, but you are suppressing it through your technique, but your technique knows where they are suppressed. They are not visible to the hackers. Hackers pick up the data and think they have complete data, but they are not able to extract the meaningful data out of it. You can pseudonymize the data, that is, you replace the identifiers of the data, the metadata of the data, with fake identifiers. And you know what is a fake identifier. Which identifier has replaced which private identifier is known only to your technique that you are using. Perturbation, you modify the data to prevent the exact identification of data. Right? And aggregation where you combine data from multiple sources or multiple individuals and put them together as if it's a data summary, and again only you as technique, data anonymization technology, know what the actual data is, and you can open up and give the actual data only if the anonymization technique is in use, not that anyone will open up and use it. So these are the various anonymization methods. One very common of them which we use in our day-to-day life is data masking. Right? And there are many financial companies which will ask you for masked Aadhaar number. So only the last 4 digits are visible, so they don't know the complete Aadhaar number. Similarly, whenever you talk of credit cards, even including on the statements issued, you have masked card numbers, again only the last 4 digits visible. So that is called data masking. So these are various technologies through which you can change the context or change the meaning of your data, so that if the data is hacked, it can still not be read, right? And of course, don't forget that you still need to encrypt your data, or you still should encrypt your data for your safety. But you also have to make sure that the anonymization technique is able to reproduce the data back to you, right? So what could be the possible implementation steps? You need to identify the sensitive data, choose one of these 6 technologies that we talked of, and as the technology improves every day, so you may have more options available. Anonymize the data using one of those technologies. Evaluate your anonymization. Try and pick up the anonymized part of the data and try to open it and see whether it is logically visible and you can read it or not. And then you document the entire process. Okay, documentation is something which is very, very basic and very, very important in all aspects. Especially now with privacy and data security. Yes, you should document your entire process, right? What are the challenges in data analysis? You can very well understand the most important is that you are converting the data into a different format that is helping you to preserve the privacy. Lost data cannot be read until the aggregation utility, which would have its own parameters, its own logins, its own encryptions, is used to reproduce the normal data. But then your analysis tools should also have the capability of using those anonymization technologies or techniques to extract the data and make it useful. So a balance has to be created between anonymization and utilization, anonymization and analysis of your data, so that privacy is also taken care of and the data's basic utility is also taken care of, right? So a perfect balance has to be created. There is also some bit of a risk of re-identification that maybe you are not able to reproduce the actual original data, which is very, very dangerous, because then you lose the data. Even you are not able to reproduce, then that could be very, very harmful for your own reputation as well as for your own data as such. And then of course your anonymization techniques should also be sort of compliant with the regulatory considerations worldwide. Your anonymization should be very, very safe, and you have to make sure you are able to reproduce. See, the technology is improving. Improving technologies, you need to make sure that it is backward compatible. Something you anonymize today and a year down the line you say you upgraded on the technology, and so therefore you are not able to reproduce a personal data available with you. It could be very, very dangerous, right? And non-available data of any individual, a prospect, a customer, a vendor, an employee, is more harmful than data privacy itself, because then that would directly bring a loss to your reputation, right? So these are some challenges that you need to consider. There are a few quick practical applications. Healthcare uses a lot of data, patient data, for research. It is not necessary that the hospital or the clinic where it is collected is going to use it all on their own. They need to share it with laboratories, to the research centers. So they need to anonymize that data, so that data, while moving out of their network, whether physically or through or on the wire, the data should not lose its basic sanctity, right? So privacy needs to be maintained, so data should be anonymized. Same is with financial transactions. They also interchange between financial institutions, so one has to be taking care of that as well. Marketing data is a very, very, very critical data, because it helps in market analysis. Again, analysis may not be done by the same organization which is collecting your data or producing your data. They also send it to third-party agencies or interdepartment exchanges there for marketing data as well. And public data which is collected by an agency, shared with government agencies, collected by a government agency and shared with subsidiaries and other parallel government agencies, that needs to be anonymized. Just simply assuming and believing that you are shipping your storage from one department to another department in a safe form, there is very less risk of data being copied in between and privacy getting impacted. Well, there can always be risks. So encrypting and anonymizing data is something which is very important. In the previous video we did talk about minimization also. That helps you to reduce what you are collecting and only purpose those collection, right? Anonymization helps you change the text, and both of them together help you manage the privacy of the personal information of the person who has trusted you with his personal data. Thank you very much. That's what I have to talk about data anonymization and securing the personal information that you have collected. If you like my content, press like and bell icons, subscribe to my channel. I have a long series of data privacy videos that have been there and would keep coming up very frequently in the future as well. And if you have any feedback, please come to the comments box and share your feedback with me. Thank you.